Hey guys, Rigo here with the Noobs, and today I'm going to talk through how Warzone is doing in the player charts, what some of the reasons might be for the numbers, and also how Warzone is comparing in popularity to other battle royales on the market at the moment. So let's get straight into it. So a really quick and simple way to gauge games' popularity is player count. If we look at Steam charts for Warzone, the average player count over the last 30 days has been around 60,000, with a peak of just over 100,000. Now there's a couple of important points to consider here. The first is that these figures don't include PlayStation or Xbox, it's just Steam on PC, but it does give you an indication that you'll likely find similar numbers across the console platforms. The second point is that the low player count on a game doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game, it may just have found its level. But when you compare the current player count on Steam for Warzone to what it was when the game first launched, it is quite striking. For November 2022, which is when Warzone 2 launched, the average player count was over 220k, with a high of nearly 500,000. Another factor here is the stats provided on Steam cover both Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, so if you assume a split across the two, then it's important to take into account that whilst the lowest average may look worse being split, the same goes for the high average from back in November. So I think it's fair to say that the statistics have dipped quite considerably since launch. But is this normal? Well, inevitably games will likely be most popular when they first drop, as casual players give it a try. But COD as a franchise is huge, and you'd think the numbers would sustain if the game was a success. So we know the numbers, but what are some of the potential reasons behind the decline in player count? Well, a lot of the issues centred around movement mechanics, something that the devs had committed to improving from Season 3 onwards. There's also been consistent grumblings around looting, and the new system that came with Warzone 2. I found that looting can often be quite glitchy, and I've had several occurrences where I've not been able to pick up a weapon or an item, and I've been killed whilst trying and failing to do so. Another issue that comes up regularly with Warzone is the availability of playlists. Some players like to play quads, others duos, or some people just like to play solos, and the availability of all variations is sometimes lacking. This inevitably leads to players feeling left out and not listened to. If you only really like playing solos and that playlist suddenly gets removed, then there's a very good chance that you drop the game completely. And with that frustration, you're potentially going to uninstall the game, especially if you're someone like me on the Xbox Series S with limited storage capacity for something like Warzone. Once you uninstall a game, it does take a lot to reinstall it. Warzone 2 also saw the release of private servers, but to the frustration of many, this required a minimum of 50 players to start, effectively excluding anyone who wasn't a content creator from being able to create private matches. It is worth noting, however, that other BRs have released this feature with similarly high player count requirements, so Warzone isn't the outlier here, but it is frustrating nonetheless. Aside from things like mechanics, the other concern is around the lack of content. Although we had a Sheikah Island drop in Season 2, there's a general feeling that updates to Warzone have been sparse, and this is not limited to fresh content like map points of interest, but also to things like in-game events. When you look at other battle royales like Apex, which has a lot of dedicated in-game events that are fun and engaging, Warzone does seemingly fall behind. Importantly, it does seem that the devs are taking more attention to what the Warzone community wants, but it's definitely a work in progress which will inevitably be impacting those player count numbers. So how does Warzone 2 compare to other battle royales on the market? Starting with Apex Legends, if we compare the last 30 days with Warzone 2, you can see a considerable difference. Apex Legends had an average of 231,000 players over the last 30 days, compared to the 63,000 number that we called out earlier for Warzone 2, which again, remember, is split with Modern Warfare 2. The other stat that really stands out is the peak across the last 30 days, which stands at over 500,000. This clearly indicates that in comparison to Apex, Warzone 2 is struggling significantly in the player count, at least on Steam charts. And when you compare these numbers to Fortnite, you see how big the Battle Royale market can be. According to playercounter.com, Fortnite had over 3 million active players online during a weekday evening. So there's clearly a huge market in the Battle Royale scene, and there is of course more Battle Royale titles than the ones I've made comparisons with here. But what needs to change from a Warzone perspective to boost those numbers? Well, ultimately it comes down to listening to the community and addressing the issues that players have the most concerns with. And this is something that we have started to see more of, but there is a general feeling that the community isn't widely listened to. But what do you think about Warzone 2 and its player count? And if you're still playing it, are you concerned that you'll soon have no one to matchmake with? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on the current state of Warzone 2, particularly in comparison to its Battle Royale rivals. Just before you go, we've got a great community at the Noobs, so come join our Discord, where we post our live stream schedule. Take care guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.